Hi, everyone. Great to be speaking with you all today, and thanks for joining today's webinar. I'm Dave Carroll, Head of Global Product Marketing and Core B2B Initiatives here at LinkedIn. And I'm joined today by Sudeep Cherian, who is the Senior Product Marketing Manager for LinkedIn Lead Accelerator, which is where we're going to turn the spotlight today. Sudeep and I are very excited to walk you through this newest addition to the LinkedIn Marketing Solutions portfolio. And for those of you who saw the announcement a couple weeks back, the launch of Lead Accelerator was also very much a significant expansion of the LinkedIn Marketing Solutions platform. So here's our plan for the next, let's say, 50, 60 minutes. I'm going to first give you some context, right? I want to convey to you LinkedIn's development focus from a marketing solutions perspective, really the challenges that we're in business to address. And then I'm going to give you a bird's eye view of the full funnel marketing platform that our customers are using today to again, put in context the role that Lead Accelerator plays in our portfolio. Then I'm going to hand off to Sudeep to take you on a deeper dive walkthrough of Lead Accelerator and how our customers are using it today. And we're going to leave time at the end to address any questions. So as mentioned up front, please do submit any questions that you have along the way. And as mentioned, we do encourage you all to share socially as well if you feel so compelled. Please do. So just to kick off and to orient you all to our overall mission as a company here at LinkedIn, we're laser focused as an organization on helping professionals, including all of you on the phone today, to connect with other professionals, to ultimately make you more productive and more successful, both in your current roles and wherever you choose to take your careers down the road. This is really the true north that drives our day-to-day. And we're making pretty good progress toward that mission with almost 350 million members today, and we have over 200,000 new members joining every day. And since I do know we're chatting with this morning with a whole lot of marketers on the line, how would you all start to think about our audience, this 347 million strong professional audience? Well, these professionals are, you can think about them as being relatively highly educated, affluent, relatively influential. And when I say relatively, when you look at perspective of LinkedIn has 28% higher buying power index than comparable business and social sites. And then we're reaching 2.8 times more business decision makers than comparable business sites, just to kind of give you that orientation to the audience. And I have a little delay on the slide here, so here's some of the statistics that I just mentioned. So that's your basic 100,000-foot orientation to LinkedIn audience. Now I'm going to pivot to talk about the core marketer problems that we're focused on addressing and where we're really investing our product development time and energy. So as I'm sure all of the B2B marketers on the call, and actually all the high consideration B2C marketers are on the call for that matter, as all of you know, it's becoming increasingly difficult to influence purchase decisions, right? Well, why is that? Well, there's a lot of reasons. First, the buyer's journey, we know it's nonlinear, it's complex, it's grown more complex over time. We're all selling, depending on the market and products that we're selling, multiple influencers and decision makers in this process. But I think what really stands out, it's made our lives as marketers more complicated, but actually a lot more opportunity for us to make an impact, is the statistic that, on average, a prospect, the people we're selling to are making it through 90% of this purchase process or decision process before actually picking up the phone to speak to a sales rep. And the reason for that is they're self-sufficient today. They're able to self-educate, and that's because there's no shortage of online destinations that they can visit to access the research they need, the information about products and ability to compare pricing, and to get recommendations and input from their peers through social connections, et cetera. And as they're doing this self-exploration, of course, content plays a huge role, right, in this buy process, allows people to be self-sufficient. And on average, it's an interesting statistic that people are consuming 10 pieces of content before making the purchase, and not too surprising, as we know you and I are consuming, how much content we're consuming in our daily travels. So the bottom line is marketers, I think to be successful, the onus is on us to get our brands and the right message and the right content in front of the prospects that we're trying to get in front of throughout this process if we want to be in a strong position to shape the outcome. So that's the goal, but no big surprise, I'm sure to all of you, that doing this really well is far easier said than done. And why is that? Well, for a couple big reasons. First, because it's fundamentally challenging to extract the value of the programs you already have in play. We're all spending and investing across a range of programs and channels with an eye of driving the right audiences to our website and landing pages. But the truth is, of every 100 people we drive to the website, statistically, I think there's a stat from SiriusDecisions that on average, maybe 5% of your website traffic is going to convert, meaning fill out a web form, provide some personal information, allowing you to kind of nurture that relationship. The other 95 are kind of walking out the door, making it very hard for you to programmatically try to develop that prospect relationship and get value from your programs. On the bright side, you have 5 out of 100 that do submit a form, that do convert, and you're able to capture them, let's say, in a marketing automation system. There, the challenge is that on a great day, maybe 20% of the people that you're sending emails to are actually opening your emails, which makes it extremely difficult to extract value from these converted leads. And fundamentally, all the sophistication that that email nurturing brings to that problem leaves 80% of these folks out of your reach because they're not opening your email. So pretty sobering snapshot for everyone here on the call today. Definitely worth doing a back of the envelope on your own funnel metrics to start getting a handle on how much potential value might be being lost here. So that was a sobering picture. Let me paint a brighter picture here, more optimistic. Imagine, if you will, what if we could drive some serious efficiencies into what we're doing to really improve and amp up the funnel math I just described. You know, what if you could be sure that you're reaching only the right people and generate enough interest to drive them to your site and landing pages? And then what if you could get meaningful content in front of prospects based on, you know, what defines whether something is meaningful, whether it's geared to who they are, where they are in the purchase process, and being able to get that content in front of them where they choose to consume it. Well, in that scenario, you know, if you're a brand marketer, that would expand the reach of your message. It would strengthen the brand and awareness among the right audiences, for sure, if you could do that in a targeted way. And as demand gen marketers, it would not only get you more leads, but you'd get better leads, higher quality leads, and you'd get them faster, right? Really accelerating lead velocity. And you'd be able to nurture prospects before they even raise their hand, right? And nurture them across channels to boost conversions and marketing source pipeline, and ultimately where we're, as marketers, trying to really tie our energy and activity, marketing source revenue. So that's exactly where LinkedIn Marketing Solutions comes in. We're laser focused on putting in your hands a platform that's going to help you meaningfully engage the people that matter most to your business so that you're in position to make the biggest impact on your business. And with that organizational focus, what we've done is to build a end-to-end full funnel set of solutions that can help you make an impact at every stage of your funnel on that buyer's journey. Our platform puts us in a unique position to help you both generate awareness and reach among the right people, and to nurture those audiences by delivering the most appropriate content depending on where they are in their buy process. So as promised up front, let me just give you a bird's eye view of the portfolio, where it plays in the funnel, and in particular kind of the role that Lead Accelerator plays. So starting from the top, we have our LinkedIn display advertising solutions. And what this does is giving you 2 powerful ways to make sure you're reaching new audiences, that you're on the radar and building brands with the right audiences. And these 2 powerful ways are our 2 display products, LinkedIn On-Site Display and LinkedIn Network Display, which is also a new product that we launched a couple weeks back. Now, as prospects start their journey down the funnel, we all know content displays a huge role, critical role in driving prospects from one stage to the next. And here, LinkedIn Sponsored Updates comes into the picture. It lets you get your content directly in the LinkedIn feed, which is the world's only professional feed, where you're essentially capturing people's attention when they're most engaged, right? That's where you and I are most engaged, when we're actually consuming information shared by our peers and our networks. Now, as you continue our journey, we'll move firmly into the lower half of the funnel. This is where direct response goals reign supreme. And here, sponsored in-mail is a game changer in terms of taking email marketing effectiveness to the next level. You can think about sponsored in-mail as really the most direct way to engage your prospects on LinkedIn. Finally, now as your other programs have now done their job to reach new prospects and start driving them down the funnel, this is where LinkedIn Lead Accelerator comes in to help you get to the ultimate goal, which is really lead conversions and pipeline contribution, and ultimately customer acquisition by giving you an entirely new way to nurture your prospects. But Sudeep, never fear. I'm going to push the pause button here so I don't steal your thunder. Let me now pass the baton to you so you can kind of double-click on Lead Accelerator and how our customer is using that to make an impact.
A sequential set of messages to reach those audiences over time through email. We take a lot of those concepts within marketing automation for email and now apply them to display and social advertising to allow marketers to now go beyond the inbox. So during this demo, we're actually going to get in and dig into the tool. I want to highlight really 5 core areas where Lead Accelerator, where marketers can leverage Lead Accelerator, and this is really highlighting the series of screens that we'll go through over the course of this chat. So let's jump right in. Here we go. The first part of which is the power of LinkedIn data. LinkedIn has the most professional, up-to-date professional database on the planet. As Dave mentioned, over 347 million professionals and growing daily. And having that data really gives us the opportunity to provide marketers the chance to specifically and target the audiences that they want to reach. But beyond that, really start to understand who is engaging on their site. This gives you a sense of just some of the targeting facets that marketers have available to them because of that rich data we have on the professionals that are engaging on LinkedIn. Now here's our first chance to get a peek into the tool itself. By placing a few lines of code, JavaScript code, what we call the LinkedIn Insight tag, you immediately get access to understanding who is coming to your website from a business demographic perspective, and that's powered by that LinkedIn data I just chatted about. Now, while there's some great web analytics tools out there that can tell you the amount of time web visitors are spending on the page or where they're traveling on the page, this is uniquely distinct because you can start to understand who's coming to your website. What this should help inform is the effectiveness of all the marketing efforts you're doing today and really see, are you driving the right audiences to your page? And this can be broken down by all of the targeting facets that if you're a LinkedIn customer today, you may be accustomed to, such as company size, industry, function, seniority, and industry. But once you start to understand who's engaging on your site, it's about defining and prioritizing the audiences that matter to you most, that you ultimately want to build a relationship with. And here I'm highlighting how you can then do that segment definition or defining of those high-value audiences. And you can do that in a few ways. First off, and here it's listed as website visitors. By website visitors, we at LinkedIn, we like to refer this to as the digital body language that a website visitor exhibits on your page. So what this means is, for instance, I can choose those that are coming to my homepage and leaving and want to send them a series of messages versus those that are coming to my product page versus those that are coming to, for instance, a careers or jobs page. As you can imagine, based on those behaviors that they've exhibited on my website or their digital body language, we may want to build a relationship with them or share content in a different way. Beyond that, we also have the ability to target based on Eloqua segments. And this is an opportunity for those that are currently leveraging Eloqua today, where you have defined segments and audiences in your Eloqua instance, and you're nurturing them probably quite effectively with email you can take those same segments and now start to nurture them through display and social advertising so that both of your nurturing tactics or solutions are going to be working in harmony. Now, we've talked about the digital body language and narrowing down based on that, and your Eloquest segments and focusing on that. But you can also then take the business demographic information about these web visitors and focus even more. And these are the same targeting facets that were shown on the Audience Insights report of company size, industry, seniority, etc. Now, you've taken the step of understanding who your audiences are. You've now defined your high-value segments that you want to continue to build a relationship with. And now it's about defining what are those messages you're going to be sending to them. At LinkedIn, or with the Lead Accelerator specifically, we call these individual messages waves. And a series of waves are made up into what we call a stream. And each stream is tied to a specific audience segment that you've defined. In this example, I'm really highlighting how our LinkedIn marketing team, actually internally here at LinkedIn, is leveraging Lead Accelerator to define their waves, or their messages, I should say. Here I'm really highlighting just two messages that the marketing team put together. The first of which, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit so it's easier to read, we're calling Wave 1. Now, likely, you would have put in something more descriptive to define what is that first message you want to share to this audience. But once you put in the descriptor of what the audience is, the message will be, you then can define what we call as the wave conversion. These are customer-defined or user-defined conversion pages that ultimately mean the client has become a lead. Now, as I mentioned, you can set up a series of sequential messages to these segments. However, at any point, that user could say, hey, I'm interested in becoming a customer or learning more and going to a conversion page. And you have the ability for that user to then move into that. On the right side of this slide, you'll notice all of the creative that's supporting that wave. And we'll go into a little more detail on what that means. But at the highest level, this is really showing you creative, both display banners, Facebook newsfeed ads, and sponsored content on LinkedIn as the ability to share the same message or same wave, but in some different creative formats so that you can truly reach those audiences across the web. And then what's at the bottom of this square on the right side is that the next wave will start after 14 days. So this is actually a user-defined timeline for when that message should move to the next message. And we'll go into more on why that's so effective and unique for Lead Accelerator. In this specific example, actually. So the reason that, as I mentioned, we've very much mirrored off of marketing automation for email because of this idea of tailoring your messages to what your audiences, who your audiences are and the behaviors they've exhibited. For instance, let's say you have a series of web visitors, a volume of web visitors that have visited your homepage and then left. You could call them homepage-only visitors, or as many of us know, as homepage bouncers. For them, you'd likely want to start with a higher-level message about who your company is, and then move them through a sequence of messages before you actually ultimately need them to convert. However, with product page A, let's say a visitor visited product page A, this is really highlighting to us that they're more interested in learning more about this specific product. Here you may want to share a demo video of what the product is actually all about, maybe even a white paper, a series of messages that are probably more lower funnel, that are going to ultimately drive more confidence to this user that this product may make sense for them. We also talked about nurturing everywhere, or reaching these audiences anywhere they may be traveling online, and we're really trying to deliver on that promise. Beyond just LinkedIn, where you get the opportunity to reach them through sponsored content, both on desktop and mobile, directly in the feed on LinkedIn.com and within the LinkedIn app, you also have the Facebook newsfeed, where we can also reach your audiences, and then through a series of different, through purchases with our off-network publishers and through a variety of ad exchanges, you can reach them through display advertising across several thousands of websites where we have relationships with. Really defining, really giving you the opportunity to reach them anywhere they may be going, and ensuring that message gets in front of the right person at the right time. And this idea of sequential messaging anywhere online is very unique to Lead Accelerator and unique to a lot of other solutions that may be out there today. Once you've reached them with content and continued to build that relationship through content, and they're ready to raise their hand and say, I want to learn more from your company, they're going to come to your landing pages. Here's two examples of some of our customers' landing pages that they've set up. But as a Lead Accelerator customer, you can now place a button on the page called Autofill with LinkedIn. It's a simple piece of JavaScript code that you can place onto many of your existing landing pages that you have today, and we support a whole host of different landing pages, both on desktop and mobile. And with a single click of a button, you can pre-fill these fields with a user's public profile information. Of course, there may be other fields involved for filling out a form that you may be interested in, but really getting that correct demographic information on who they may be is a great way to increase conversions. As you can imagine, on mobile, where when users are presented with a web form, needing to thumb in their first name, last name can be quite daunting and ultimately lead to a lot of churn or drop-off when it comes to users visiting a landing page. And we've seen extreme success with companies that are leveraging autofill to increase those conversions. So we've understood who the audiences are. We've defined our high-value audiences, established the messages they're going to reach, and we've set up autofill so that it makes it more easy for interested prospects to submit their information, and ultimately for us to increase our conversions. But then it comes down to how do we continue to get better? And this is where I feel Lead Accelerator really stands out and can really start to provide you with detailed information on how your programs are doing. Now, we provide information, reports at the broader nurture stream level, so you can understand across all your nurture streams, how effective are my efforts from an impressions, clicks, click-through rate, actions, impressions per action, but also what's really interesting is post-click actions is ultimately what results is this driving. You can break that down, and that's at the lower part of the screen, which is harder to read, but you can break that down at the individual nurture stream level, at the wave level or message level, and then even at the creative level. So you can see all of those same stats to continue to optimize. And what I would say our leading Lead Accelerator clients, or those that are finding the most success, are truly leveraging the reports on a regular basis. They're looking at what creative's working the best to drive clicks and conversions, and they're able to swap out creative or A/B test accordingly based on what they're seeing from a performance perspective. In fact, we see some customers start to reorder their waves or their messages because they realize if they put a white paper as the first message versus the third message, they're more likely to drive conversions. Or maybe they'll actually swap out the nurture streams as well that a marketer may be exposed to. There's a lot of different opportunities to, once you get in here, and one thing I hadn't mentioned is this is truly a self-service platform from the ground up. You continue to have the opportunity to upload new creative, and adjust your nurture streams. But it's one thing to know how your nurture streams are doing, but you want to step back and say, what is this actually doing for my business? And this is where our full funnel impact report really helps tell that story. At the top of the funnel, if you're investing in some of our other display and other top funnel advertising products, we can tell you with confidence the volume of net new visitors that LinkedIn ads have driven versus those new visitors that haven't been exposed to LinkedIn advertising. And in all of this, this is a view really of our LinkedIn marketing team's efforts on driving the funnel. If you go further down, it's about the incremental percentage of, or the net new percentage of page views per visitor driven by specifically LinkedIn advertising and those efforts with Lead Accelerator. And then what we all care about, driving a high volume of high quality leads at an efficient price. You can see a 399% uplift for actions per visitor from those exposed to LinkedIn advertising versus those that not. For those of you that have management that might be asking, or even as you manage your budgets, on how effective is Lead Accelerator and my LinkedIn efforts really driving for my business, this should really help tell you that story. Now, before we move to the next slide, at this point in the game, when we talk to marketers, they say, this sounds great. It sounds like a solution I may want to take into account, but I think I need some assistance with understanding how to best segment my audiences, how to best get that creative ready for those messages that are going to reach those audiences. And for that, we have this solution which we offer to every single new Lead Accelerator customer called LaunchPad. In fact, this is a hands-on, dedicated process with our marketing automation consultants. These are really B2B marketing experts that come on site to your company, and they'll sit with you to really talk about your entire and your holistic marketing strategy today and start to plan out how Lead Accelerator fits into that. We'll look into developing alongside with you the nurture streams, defining those high-value audiences, defining those messages to ultimately engage those audiences, and bring the appropriate people, help to bring the right people to the table to get the creative in place to ultimately get you in a place to launch Lead Accelerator successfully. Once we've launched Lead Accelerator, it's about post-launch optimization. So we're going to be checking in with you over that first month and then ultimately bringing in an account manager as well who's very well versed to continue to teach you how to optimize. Another great part of this LaunchPad process is that we're going to teach you how to use the tool effectively. What are things, indicators to look at so you can continue to optimize over time and get better? And not only you, it's really all the practitioners that you envision will be leveraging Lead Accelerator. Now, I've talked about how I think Lead Accelerator is a great tool, but and we've walked into the details of that. But really, I think, and I encourage you, as you look at the logos up here on the screen, to really start to talk to our customers and understand how effective this has been for driving leads and ultimately results for their business. This is really just a snapshot of who's already currently leveraging Lead Accelerator. And in the interest of time, and I want to make sure we have time for questions, I'm just going to highlight one specific story that stands out to me, and that's the Cetera Financial Group. Cetera Financial Group is, as many of us know, a very effective wealth management and advisory platform, and they're always looking for new ways to break through with new marketing technologies, really to drive more effectiveness in the financial services space for what they're doing from a marketing perspective. And for them, they actually had the unique opportunity to leverage both LinkedIn Network Display to reach new audiences at scale and LinkedIn Lead Accelerator to ultimately be able to nurture those and continue to build that relationship with their web visitors once they do come to their website. So a very strong success with network display, but I want to specifically talk about the success they saw with Lead Accelerator. And here it was that they were able to see, and actually let me talk about their implementation. They're currently a customer of Eloqua, and they have a series of segments in there, and had very effective email marketing campaigns, but they were able to actually synchronize that with the display and social advertising on Lead Accelerator. And within just a few months, they were already able to increase the volume of page views from their nurtured visitors by 27%. They were able to re-engage their known, as I mentioned, with Eloqua. And then within the time period, within a short time period, generate over $960,000 worth of business for them in net new business. And they can attribute that, because of our reporting, to Lead Accelerator. Here's Eric Hansen from their, the director of their demand generation group, who sums it all up. But he says it allows them to reach prospects anywhere online and make every interaction with them more personal and relevant throughout the buyer's journey. So that sums up really the demo and really a highlight of one of our many customers. But we really want to open it up for questions, as I'm sure there are a lot of them with this being a new product. I'm excited to take them. Dave and I are excited to take them. But if we don't get to your questions and you want to learn more, we do have marketing.linkedin.com. That's a resource that is continually updated with best practices, more details on our products. So I encourage you to go there after this call.
Awesome. Thank you, Sudeep. And thank you, everyone, for the engagement. I see just a ton of questions coming in, which is awesome. So we're going to try to get to as many as we can. So we'll kick off. I'm gonna kind of tee up some of these questions. As usual, Sudeep, I will pass all the hard questions to you. I will take all the easy softball questions. So to start off, there's a lot of questions from folks that are familiar with Bizzo, that had either been a customer of Bizzo or familiar with Bizzo technology, and wants to kind of know, how does this relate to what Bizzo had? So to give you that perspective, so first off, I actually come to LinkedIn through Bizzo. I was CMO at Bizzo, spent 4.5 years building the marketing effort at Bizzo. And this directly relates to some other questions about, this seems really new. We just launched this a couple weeks ago. How proven is this? So this LinkedIn Lead Accelerator is very much built on what was a part of the Bizzo platform, which was called Bizzo Multi-Channel Nurturing, which had been in the market for some time, had been proven with a whole lot of customers, including some of them that Sudeep kind of showed up on the slide. So this definitely is proven. We've had customers of all sizes and across industry that are getting a lot of success from this. So to give perspective, especially for those on the call who are familiar with what Bizzo had offered, what's different with LinkedIn Lead Accelerator? Well, there's a lot of new and a lot of enhancements, and there's going to be a lot more going forward. But very specifically, 3 things to call out, if you were familiar with what Bizzo had previously, is integration of sponsored updates. So in terms of being able to reach your target audience, nurture your known and anonymous audience, we now include, in terms of where we can reach them on LinkedIn through sponsored updates. Another key enhancement is LinkedIn data. So Bizzo had a robust data set built from a group of intimate B2B publishers that we were working closely with, that were data providers, that we were leveraging that. We now have as I teed up up front, Sudeep expanded on it, we're leveraging LinkedIn data for both the analytics that Sudeep demoed, as well as to help segment, include and exclude your high-value audiences. So we're leveraging LinkedIn data. The third key thing to mention is autofill. This capability to, now that you've done the hard work of getting in front of the right audiences with the right content, you're driving them to your website, the magical moment where you're trying to get them to entrust you with some personal information, autofill now, again, leveraging someone's public profile to help really increase conversions that you're getting on your web forms. So those, just to give you a basic orientation, for those that are new to this type of technology, maybe not as useful, but I do understand we want to orient everyone on this call. Another very good question, and there were several folks on the line asking some similar. Sudhi, maybe you take a crack at it. I'm happy to provide some color as well. This kind of feels a little bit like display retargeting. How is this different than some of the other retargeting solutions on the market?
Yeah, and retargeting in my mind is a very effective solution, but in my mind, very optimized for the B2C buyer. The shoes I'm wearing right now, I think about if I went to sportsbasement.com and was shopping for those shoes, when I put them into my shopping cart, if Sports Basement was leveraging retargeting, I would see those shoes really everywhere I went for the next 2 weeks, maybe, everywhere I went on the web. And that's very effective for B2C. But as we talked about with high consideration B2C and with B2B, the complex journey is that you need to be building relationships with them over time, and you can't just hammer them with a single message at once. So the key difference with traditional retargeting is that we set, similar to marketing automation, a sequential set of messages, a series of messages over time, so that we can, we're not hitting you with the same message over and over, but really hitting you, building a relationship with you over a series of messages. So that would be the key differentiator.
And I'll just, to add a little color or to reinforce, I think the two main differentiators that are extremely important, and I set it up front, you've got a long, complex buy process. So what we've developed is, at part of the core, it is essentially a retargeting type of technology, right? We're able to help you nurture existing audiences, but it's retargeting as it was meant to be for B2B, and this long, complex process where you need to get relevant content to the right people based on where they are in that buy process. And a lot of the existing solutions really catering to more of a B2C application. So this is solving for that. And then it's the data. How do you get relevant content? Well, you need to know a lot about them. So I think that's really where we uniquely are able to bring an offering to market that can make a difference. Another set of questions coming in around marketing automation. So you mentioned integration to Eloqua, which is something that does exist today. There are folks on the line that are using a range of platforms. Can they get value from Lead Accelerator today?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, we have a lot of customers using DMPs or using other marketing automation solutions like Marketo, all of which are very effective. And the reality is, like, while we don't have that direct integration to reach the specific segments like we do in Eloqua and nurture off of those, there are a whole host of users that haven't submitted that email address. If you think about your marketing automation platform today, it's really just those known contacts. But there's this whole opportunity of anonymous website visitors that want to build a relationship with you and aren't quite ready to submit their email address. And for whether you're using Eloqua or another marketing automation platform, in my mind, you can't afford to not be nurturing these people because you're working off. You need to be working off of a much wider pool of people that you're chatting with.
Yeah, and maybe one way to think about it is that, I mean, I talked about the 100 of every 100 people hitting your website, 95 are leaving. This is helping you to nurture very effectively as intelligently in a programmatic fashion those anonymous prospects as you are with your marketing automation system today against your known prospects. And we can elegantly work with any marketing automation system because fundamentally you're driving this traffic to your landing page that you're setting up in your own marketing automation system to capture and attribute that lead. So yes, so absolutely. Our customers are using a range of marketing automation platforms today for sure.
Yeah, and I mentioned this at the beginning call, but really we think of it as complementary because marketing automation is going to continue to power that known, but now you can go beyond just the known to the anonymous.
Exactly. So there's a question about, or a set of questions around, for smaller organizations, is this something, when is the right time to think about Lead Accelerator? Is this too much to bite off? I'll kick that off that generally where are you going to start at the sweet spot of knowing, is this right for you? And I think the guidance we provide is that because we're dealing, essentially, we're going to help you get much more value from essentially every program you're using to drive traffic to your website, we're going to help you get more value from every one of those programs, right, by increasing conversion. So I think the punchline is until you have a certain scale of traffic to your website, that's really going to be the barometer. So rule of thumb, on the order of about 20,000 monthly uniques to your website, that's where we're really going to have enough scale to start seeing a very needle-moving impact. So anything to add to that from a...
Yeah, that's actually our minimum threshold, 20,000 monthly uniques specifically. And if you're below that, there's a huge opportunity to leverage on some of our other products like on-site displays, sponsored content, to really reach new audiences and can build a relationship with them until they're ready to come to your website. So that's what I would add there.
Great. So there's a lot of questions around pricing, like how do we price this? So there, just to give everyone a macro orientation, this is, as you could kind of feel from the way they're describing, even the way you're using your marketing automation systems today, this is something that's an always, it's going to add value when it's always on, right? This is not something you think about in terms of running a campaign. These are programs that you're setting to be always nurturing, always adding value to help you get more out of the rest of your programs. So it's framed, and you're going to be investing on a subscription basis, and the subscription is very much tied to the number of contacts, anonymous and known, that you're going to be nurturing on a monthly basis. So just to give everyone a sense of that, and of course, as Sudeep pointed, you can go to our website to get more granular information, and of course, you can explore directly with someone from LinkedIn about your specific situation.
Yeah, the way I like to think about it is really that, would you ever turn off your website? And the answer is probably no, unless there was a catastrophic event, of course. But there are continually people coming to your website to want to learn more about your business. And you have to be nurturing them. Like, it's just not an option as a marketing organization. And so in that same sense, we've really built this out to be less campaign-focused and more of an always-on solution through subscription. And one question that usually comes up with the subscription is, hey, but there's actually media involved. There's media being purchased. It's not just email sent out. And as part of that subscription buy, all of the media costs are taken on the shoulders of LinkedIn. In fact, we have our algorithms that ultimately will optimize for your performance to purchase inventory across LinkedIn, Facebook, our display ad exchanges that we work with. But we're driving for the optimal results for you. All you have to pay for is that subscription, that monthly subscription.
Great, thanks, Sudeep. So there, I think, quite a few questions around, I'll kind of roughly try to bucket them. There's several around audience segmentation, like exactly what we're doing to help define. And I think there's a lot of questions around exclusions. Like, I'm trying to get in front of marketing execs, but I actually don't want to waste time on another set of audiences. So do you want to talk a little bit about how you might approach that? Yeah.
In fact, exclusions is one of the most heavily used features, I should say, when it comes to targeting on Lead Accelerator. I'll give you an example. Maybe it's, as a marketing team, based on your priorities for the year, you're not interested in maybe nurturing for those that are coming to your jobs page or your careers page. And you can choose that specific audience as an exclusion. It's a very effective, you can use exclusions really at the demographic level or even on the web, like where they're traveling on your site. So maybe it's about not wanting to reach those at a certain earlier level in their career, so that you have, or you're explicitly choosing to reach those that are director level or above, if you will.
Sounds good. There are a couple questions around metrics. So how do I think about based on the way our customers are using the solution today, like how are they trying to grade success. And I'll say back to the, I framed what's the role that Lead Accelerator plays in our portfolio. It is firmly bottom funnel, right? By definition, you are trying to get more value from existing audiences that your other programs have already kind of teed up, right? So it's really straightforward. You are with Lead Accelerator, and all of our customers are kind of holding this type of success bar to it. You're trying to increase conversions. You're trying to increase engagement. You're trying to get good CPLs out of it, and even better, hopefully the savviest among us are trying to go further downstream and really to keep a close look at cost per MQLs and cost per opportunities that are coming as a result of your investment in the product, because it is certainly geared and designed to help you make a bottom funnel impact.
But as we know, like getting to that bottom funnel impact will take time. It takes this concept that we've been talking about of nurturing. So what's interesting, particularly for new customers, is they can start to see that engagement from day one. Like, are they driving net new visitors to their page, driving increased page views, and then ultimately, are they driving conversions? So.
Yeah, absolutely. I think as we've mentioned it a few times, we talked about LinkedIn Network Display as a new product launch, and I think you mentioned even the Cetera case that they were actually using this in tandem. So there's some questions about what is LinkedIn Network Display. So why don't we just riff on that briefly, and then maybe I think we'll have time for one question after that, and we'll wrap. So LinkedIn Network Display, this is taking where LinkedIn has always given you the opportunity to leverage display advertising to get in front of our professional audience in the very high quality premium context that the LinkedIn platform provides on site. And what we're doing with LinkedIn Network Display is allowing you now to stay in front of our LinkedIn professional audience and reach them beyond the LinkedIn site, across our network, as Sudeep defined, of 2,500 plus business publishers, and even further beyond as we're able to target our audience across exchanges. And it's very important to note, but always in a brand safe environment. So I always kind of describe it, in the world of a brand marketer, there's some that are context brand marketers where they really want to know exactly where the brand's going to show up, and that's where LinkedIn on-site display is. There's no better channel than that. LinkedIn Network Display is kind of, call it more of an audience brand marketer, where it's about frequency and where they're really appreciating that the power of display advertising, really the impact's going to happen through frequency. Used in tandem, again, the power of nurturing that we're describing is powerful, but I think these upper funnel products, both LinkedIn and other programs that you're already using today, are very important, because you need to, I always kind of think of it, you got to plan for the opportunities you're trying to close in Q3 and Q4. So you need to have in tandem these upper funnel programs working so that you'll be able to drive. We talk about that 20,000 a month, 20,000 monthly uniques. You need to make sure you're going to have new uniques hitting your month, and that's where LinkedIn Network Display fits in.
Mm-hmm.
Let's close out. There were a lot of questions about LaunchPad. Because you mentioned, I think, on the one hand, questions about self-service, and then the fact that we are actually helping to set them up for pretty good success by applying resource up front. So maybe talk a little bit about kind of how that works in practice.
Yeah, exactly. I'm happy to do so. So this is currently sold through our field sales team, not a fully self-service purchased product today. Once you hit that 20,000 unique visitors, monthly uniques you want to nurture, we can definitely have a conversation with our field sales teams. And they're going to walk you through kind of what the solution is in more detail. But then you're going to have someone on site come, with regards to the marketing automation consultant, come and conduct this LaunchPad session with you and your cross-functional teams to get you up and running. But in that session of get you up and running, it's also about teaching you how to use the platform. And just some things to highlight what I mean on this promise of self-service, and by I mean self-service usage of the platform, is once you've for instance, when you want to upload creative, it's not about needing to go now to your Facebook account, your LinkedIn account, and maybe these different ad exchanges to upload and purchase creative, but it's all done right there in the tool. You upload your Facebook newsfeed creative, your sponsored content creative, and even your display creative right there, and it starts to then, our platform will do the ability, take the distribution of that content across the web. But beyond that, I should also highlight, and we did go over a little bit, is just the optimizations, is the self-service optimization. So you don't have to work with a field representative on our team, like an account manager, if you will, to swap out the creative or to hit the pause button on a nurture stream, or to even create a new nurture stream or define a new audience. All of that can be powered by your team on a daily basis. And the LaunchPad session is intended to get you to that point of comfort where you can leverage that tool. Think about it a lot like you leverage your marketing automation email platform today, in that you have folks dedicated to it, or a portion of their time dedicated to creating new streams, creating emails for those messages, all of that same type of experience now for Lead Accelerator.
Great, thank you, Sudeep. So to kind of wrap up, there were several questions just around, are we going to make this recording available? I think some people wanted to kind of circulate it to their teams, have it available for reference, and the answer, Cassandra, is yes, right?
Yes.
Okay. And I think that will be sent out as a follow-up to everyone that's attended?
Yes, we'll send the recording and a copy of the slides via email to everyone.
Great, thank you. So, again, thank you, everyone, for taking the time to learn a little bit, and we look forward to having you join future event as we kind of drill in our products in future webinars. And again, we encourage you to take a look. There is a lot of resources at our website, which we've highlighted here, and you can look under Lead Accelerator, the section on the website, to get some more information. Thank you, and have a great rest of the day.
Thank you.